Hello everyone and welcome to a blistering hot day here in the Pearl of Africa, Kampala, Uganda for day one of the Africa Sevens Men's Rugby Tournament. And with me is a man who needs no real introduction, World Rugby Hall of Famer 2012, Kennedy Timber. Kennedy.
No, thank you. It's good to be here and very excited for the next 2 days.
So obviously lots of rugby going on. Kennedy, what are they playing for?
Well, there's a lot to play for, a lot at stake. If you think about it, that the Commonwealth positions are up for grabs. Also, a chance to go to Hong Kong is up for grabs, and joining the 7 Series circuits, part of Dubai and also in Cape Town, those 2 legs up for grabs. But the big golden ticket is that one ticket to go to the Rugby World Cup in San Francisco, next year's World Cup. It's going to be quite something.
Well, apart from the teams, I know that you had your lucky break at a World Cup. So how significant is it for every single player that's here this morning?
Well, it's absolutely vital because, these types of platforms are the ones that create chances for those players that are aspiring to obviously play in, higher divisions. This is a wonderful platform and a way to be seen. I was identified from these tournaments, and I think that's it's an excellent platform for all these players to get a chance to be seen.
Well, obviously countries like South Africa and Namibia already qualified.
Yeah, well, obviously Kenya and South Africa have shown the way in terms of Rugby Sevens, and now it's up to these other teams to start showing their way as they start progressing through these 2 days, as they navigate, because it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy to get those 2 positions.
So we've got 2 pools that will play obviously 20 matches today and some more tomorrow. Yeah. Do you want to take us through those 2 teams, those 2 pools?
Well, there's a pool of death, as they've elaborated on, and as you look at it, you look at Group A. Uganda, Tunisia, Morocco, Zambia, and last year's champions, Ghana. Uganda were the champions last year, but that's a strong pool, and it's going to be really difficult. We look at, Group B, Zimbabwe obviously leading the charge, but there's so many teams that have looked good. We were at Zambia. Zambia had an impressive win at their local tournament, and Zimbabwe obviously came back to win in Lesotho. So there's a lot to play for, and it's going to be exciting.
So obviously you've got a favourite.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm obviously going to be wearing, the green and white hoops. We've already been looking at the teams, and I try to veer away from the Zimbabwean team. But I'm here to support some good rugby because we love the skill and the stepping from all the type of the rugby that's going to be played, in these 2 days.
So maybe just to go back to those pools, it's certainly the pool of death. We looked at countries like Uganda, obviously the defending champions. They're on home turf. Is that an advantage for them? Will it make a difference?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a challenge for them because the other sides have really prepared, well for this tournament. They looked good last year, and it's been documented that 3 of their players weren't able to make it back here. But when you look at some of the players that started for them last year, have really carried on and played in the series last year. So Uganda's going to be in good form, and we're going to expect them to be impressive.
All right, obviously there have to be some surprise packages.
Yeah, and you look at a team like Ghana, some real athletes. You look at Raymond Rule, who's playing well in South Africa. They do have some great athletes, and it's going to be interesting to see how they develop, in this tournament. And the likes of Madagascar, how are they going to fare? They've got some small, skillful players. How are they going to fare? So it's going to be an interesting tournament.
Well, obviously 20 matches today. Let's take a look at those fixtures.
Yeah. If we look at the very first one, Tunisia versus Ghana, and Tunisia is the unknown package. We've known they play that French type style of rugby, moving the ball, some great skills. We saw their women's team had some wonderful skills, and we move on. The Zambian team then plays Morocco. So 2 of the toughest games, obviously, to kick off this tournament. That's going to be really interesting.
Uganda, Ghana.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Obviously, again, Ghana is going to have to step up because for them it's stepping into deep waters because it's the first time getting into such a tournament. And with the great coaching team staff of South Africans and Zimbabweans who got involved in their challenge, they're going to be looking to also be impressive here.
Maybe I suppose an interesting element certainly to look at is a lot of the newer teams that are coming into Sevens rugby.
Yeah, well, I think it's the adopted game that the Africans obviously love because there's a lot of running, there's a lot of space. There's not that contact that I used to love when I played. There's very little of that. But I think the Sevens game is obviously suited to us because we've got a lot of pace and skill, and it's a game that I think has to be looked forward to in terms of even it's on an Olympic stage. So it's going to be a good tournament.
And what about preparedness of the players warming up, the calibre of player that you're looking at? Sevens rugby certainly versus 15s?
Well, in terms of sevens, you don't have that big size because you have to have a big engine, a motor that runs the whole day. The defensive aspect of it is even more key than in 15s because one slip tackle, that's a try. Whereas in 15s, you've got a lot of cover. But I think when you look at the sides, there's a lot of very physical players. So the game is starting to change a bit as we look how it started, and now at the players, they are very physical.
Yeah, and I suppose just aside from what's happening on the pitch, will be off the pitch, a lot of spectators we expect this weekend. It is Independence Weekend for Uganda.
Yeah, and just speaking to some of the locals, they're excited about the rugby, and it was quite surprising for us at the airport where some of the supporters were saying that they're backing their team to go all the way. So it's going to be interesting how their supporters react.
Absolutely. Now, just to come back again to some of the teams that we are looking at today, just to recap on your top sides in today's fixtures.
Yeah, when we look at the Zimbabwean side, they came back well after a disappointing tournament in Zambia. They came back well in Lesotho, but they're going to have to look at one of their key players is struggling with a bit of a hamstring problem. He's a key player for them, and let's hope that he can see his way through this tournament.
And talent identification. Any top players that we're going to be looking out for this weekend?
Well, I'm hoping to see some new names. Obviously, there are some of the names that we've seen in the series, but I'll be looking to some of the young players that are going to put up their hands and capture our hearts.
Okay. Now, I don't have my thermometer on me right now, but I swear it's probably about 30 degrees already. Now, these conditions, are they going to affect the players?
Well, a lot of people would think so, but once you start playing, a lot of that starts going out of your mind because there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, guys are obviously expecting to see those two spaces. So those tickets of going to these World Cups are going to be key.
Well, it promises to be an absolutely thrilling day. 20 matches of fast-paced rugby. We now cross over to our commentary team, Dirk and Herbert.
Thank you, Hugo. It's a very warm welcome if you just joined us to Kampala Legends Sports Ground. There's our first game, Ghana versus Tunisia. It is the Rugby Africa Men's Sevens competition. And I'm joined by a legend himself, Adrian Bukwenya, ex-captain of Uganda. Adrian, nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Dirk, it's good to see you again. It's been a minute. Last time we were together here was the Africa Rugby Tournament. It's good to see that the Sevens is now the version that we're about to get enjoyed in Kampala over the next weekend.
Yeah, we can tell you that Kwesi has been bringing you live action of the Gold Cup 15s rugby, which ended a couple of months ago. We were lucky to work on that around the whole of Africa, and we turn our attention to sevens rugby. Those of you that have been following the action, you'll follow some of the teams. You might not have seen a lot of them, Adrian, but there are some sides here that have played the Zambian sevens, they've played the Lesotho sevens, and some new sides that are going to bring a new excitement to this tournament, and we look forward to that.
Absolutely. This is one of the showcase tournaments in African rugby. It's a good opportunity for the newer nations to give themselves a chance to get into the higher level competitions. This is a qualifier for the World Series circuit to get you into the Hong Kong Sevens, getting you a chance to get into the World Circuit. It's a qualifier for the Commonwealth for those teams that are within the Commonwealth, and of course, the big one. This is a chance for the teams that are not traditionally known to be sevens teams to go and play at the World Cup.
Well, I suppose as well a chance for teams that are not traditionally 15s teams to actually now have an opportunity to play at a world platform. And that's just great that the sevens game brings the game so much closer together that you're age old. And if we have a look at the Gold Cup that we worked on, Namibia winning that quite comfortably in the end, this kind of tournament brings all those countries a little bit closer together.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great chance for a number of African teams, and this game of sevens is well suited for the teams in Africa. It's good to build the development with all the different fixtures that are happening today. You'll see a variety of styles, a variety of physical forms, and I think a lot of exciting rugby.
Well, there's the Pool A fixtures. Ghana, Tunisia will kick off, but the Pool B fixtures, Mauritius versus Zimbabwe. We can tell you Mauritius trying to build sevens rugby in their country, and they got some work to do. They're going to be up against Zimbabwe side that ended up winning Lesotho 2 weeks ago. The other teams in that pool, Botswana, Senegal, and the fifth one, Madagascar.
I'm looking forward to seeing Madagascar play Senegal because Madagascar is really good at quick running rugby. So I would expect them to put up a good show against some of the more traditional sides.
Well, I can tell you we were lucky enough to cover the Women's World Cup qualifiers. Madagascar was there, and if their women's rugby is anything to go by, watch Madagascar. You write them off at your peril. They play a nice brand of rugby. Like you said, strong runners. They got some pace as we wait for the teams to run out. It looks like it might be a take two for these two sides. Senegal up against Ghana in the first encounter of day one here at Legends in Kampala.
Yeah, there's a big weekend here in Uganda. There's the Kampala Festival going on with a lot of great opportunities, and that's why there's a lot of security in the grounds. But Tunisia and Ghana are now taking the field to kick off the opening game of the Africa Men's 7 series.
Well, maybe you'll be sitting at home and wondering, Sevens rugby in Ghana. We can tell you that they do have a couple of players that applied their trade in England. We don't know much about these two sides, but we, having covered Tunisia in the 15s game, they have a couple of foreign players that come and play in their leagues and national team, and we expect that from Ghana as well.
I think players to watch, I would say Bosoka, number 4 for Ghana, would be somebody I would think of, and Hossam Kalfi, number 6 of Tunisia. If I recall correctly, he was part of the outfit when they played the Africa Rugby.
Correct. I have no doubt, though, by the end of today, you will be able to pick those key players in each side, the playmakers, which will be the ones that stand out, sort of like the quarterback in football. Everyone watches them. But it is definitely a team game, a team effort that's going to get you through today and into the business end of the tournament tomorrow.
Absolutely. Excitement has ramped up. These two teams are about to kick off. And we're going to have an exciting couple of days of rugby in the Pearl of Africa.
Right, so Ghana will kick. Senegal will receive the first ball of this World Cup qualifier. Tunisia will receive. So received by Tunisia, and straight away looking for the space on the outside. Expect a little bit of pace from the Tunisians as well. That looked a little bit forward to me, but it looks like it's going to be the first try of this World Cup qualifier under the posts, and Tunisia are on the scoreboard.
Very good play, simple first phase outing, good hands, very poor defense by Ghana. However, a slightly forward pass may have been led to them making the break, but good score for Tunisia, good start.
Well, Nej Madine is the player who gets in for the first try of this tournament.
As you can see there, there's simple hands, they're sizing up the offense, the defense, man up. This is the pass that we thought was slightly forward, but that's what broke the line, and the defender did not make his tackle, and it was a clean break all the way down to the try line.
Well, it's a good kickoff from Tunisia, but gathered by Ghana. Now a chance to see their backline run. Looking for that space on the outside, and taking play to the halfway line. Ghana just need to make sure they hold on to the ball as well. Now they got the numbers on the near side. Just got to get it through the hands. But, question from Ghana on maybe another forward pass. Are they going to go all the way? And Hamdi.
Oh, he was unable to put that down. Great defense there by Ghana, covering back and cross-cover tackle, making the knock-on happen by Tunisia. However, the Ghanaians had an opportunity on the left side, and that enabled the Tunisians to counter-attack. However, the number 8, Mehdi Hamdi, was not in position to close it out. Great cover defense there by Ghana. Super, just before knocking the ball on. Well done to Ghana there.
Yeah, very good. And sometimes you find, especially in sevens and early on in day one, is that you tend to let those tries go because you're saving a bit of energy. But definitely try saving tackle, and Ghana now an opportunity to clear their lines.
Indeed, Dirk, in this format, every game counts. They're going to rank the teams at the end of the day one and decide who's going to be in the knockout tournament. So every single game counts. I think that tackle was important for Ghana. They cannot afford to get too far behind in the scores.
Well, made deep on their own try line. So someone's going to have to take the ball and really get some territory back for the Ghanaians if they're going to come back in this game. There's a little bit of space as they now out of their own 22. Look forward to some pace from the Ghanaians. I don't think this man's got it. He's chased down, but the support is there. Now on the outside. That looked a little bit high. So there's the touch judge just telling the defender, please be careful on that tackle.
Great enterprising play there by Ghana. Great step and good pace, good support. The Tunisian number 10, Khalifa Najmeidi, unable to keep the tackle safe. And Ghana has a chance to score after a tough opening 3 minutes.
Well, for me, the key has been Ghana just holding on to the ball. There's a little bit of space, and that's good rugby from Ghana. Calestis will get in for the first try for Ghana. And I think, Adrian, that first try that they conceded might have just been the catalyst to wake them up. But that was much better rugby from them.
Absolutely. They put in a few phases of play. Bosaka, Calestis able to find that gap and put the ball down in the middle of the posts. Tied scores, Ghana, Tunisia, the game is on. And there you see good holding up of the ball there by Alexander Deponyo and Bosaka. Calestis able to dot down.
Well, the question is maybe got to be asked on Tunisia's defence, because he did run quite quickly, Calestis. So the overlap was there, but the defenders were very slow in realising that he was going to go to the right-hand side of the field. And you just noticed the Tunisians standing looking at each other and maybe wondering whose boy that was.
If you remember when they were here the last time, I think the altitude in Kampala is starting to tell on them. When they were in Nairobi and Kampala, they really had a hard time dealing with the conditions. They've been playing for 4 minutes, and maybe they're starting to breathe a little bit heavy, and that's why they were standing about over there.
Well, Calestis was the man again with the intercept, and unfortunately just knocking it on. But Tunisia found guilty of no one really committing to that kickoff. And all of a sudden, Ghana really got Tunisia under a little bit of pressure. There was the confusion. Let the ball bounce. The last thing you want to do in sevens rugby. Just the knock-on from Calestis. That could have been his second.
Absolutely. And as I think rightly said, I think Tunisia is starting to breathe slightly heavy, given the fact that it's early days. The weather is relatively warm. And Tunisia has a chance to try and get out of jail from the under-22, but Ghana has turned that over. Chance for Ghana right there.
Well, the intercept was unsuccessful from Hytham, and now regathered by Ghana somehow. And an opportunity for them to put more points on the board as they enter the 10-yard line of Tunisia.
If I was Ghana, I would avoid getting into the contact spaces. I think if they keep the ball in hand, they will be able to take these Tunisians left and right and maybe get some opportunities out wide. Tunisia looks a lot better in the short exchanges.
Well, you talk about altitude. Remind me, how high are we here in Kampala?
We're just about 1,100 meters above sea level.
Okay, well, if you were with us 2 weeks ago in Lesotho, we were 1,900 meters above sea level, and the Mauritians suffered the most. They actually spoke about it during and after the tournament on how they really struggled with the altitude.
Indeed, it's that unnamed extra player for the teams that are used to playing at altitude. I mean, you know how South Africa plays well at the Highveld. So Ghana able to maintain the ball possession. If he can pass this man, it's good go all the way. Is he going to make it? He does. Great fend there. The Ghanaian bringing it out in the center. Aninu Nasiru.
Yeah, he's done well. He's gone all the way from the back of the scrum. That'll tire him out in the altitude, and almost on the half-time Uta. He's got in for his second try. Well, not his second try, the second try for Ghana. And Tunisia just found a little bit wanting on defence.
Great comeback by Ghana after a tough start. Unfortunately, not able to convert that try, but great comeback by Ghana to bring the scores to 12-2. Like Animu there, skinning his man, and then he's able to fend the other defender and make sure that he goes all the way, and smartly try to make the kick easier for his man, and lost his boot in the way, but it's a fantastic score at the halftime break. Ghana leading 12-7.
Well, a deserved lead for Ghana, and after the first try they conceded, maybe a little bit lucky, not that we know everything, but it looked like a forward pass to us. Senegal ran away with the early encounters. Maybe just an opportunity for us to listen to what the two camps are saying.
Nobody should catch you, all right? So if you break away, go for it. You wanted to stop. You wanted to stop. And then you decided, I'm going for it. And you scored. Guys, this half is going to be on stay focused and how hard we work on our kickoffs. All right.
This water. Defense.
Right. I want Captain Black. Akumba comes off. Jalilu on Akumba.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
In the days of the World Cup qualifiers, Senegal, or rather Tunisia, would have had a chat on their shortcomings. They took a nice early lead in the first half, but Ghana's come back and had most of the possession and the territory towards the business end of that first half. And Tunisia got some work to do if they're going to come back in this game.
Brilliant turnover there by Tunisia. As I said, they're a lot better in the short exchanges, able to turn it over with a good counter-ruck, and now they have an opportunity deep in the Senegalese half to see if they can bring the game themselves back in the game. Good fend there by Khalifa. They've got men outside wide. Good kick, but unable to gather the ball. Ghana's defense able to set a big hit by Ghana, and they've reset the attack, and Tunisia back at it.
It just looks a little bit laboured from Tunisia. There's a little bit of space, and he's still going. It's a little bit lateral, and that looked like it was off the knee, but the referee decides no, it's a knock-on. The question is, as much as Tunisia were holding on to the ball, there was no really go-forward ball there, was there, Adrian?
Not at all, and I think they're starting to find the conditions a bit challenging. They're really good in the short exchanges. They seem laboured when they try to run the ball wide, and there you see that's elements of, unfortunately, in the first game of the tournament, you can't say fatigue, but errors like these are going to cost them, because the game of sevens, every little second counts.
So Ghana have an opportunity to get out of their own 22. So the referee decides that that ball wasn't put in straight. He's fed the ball under the leg. Doesn't look very happy. So they get away with it, Tunisia. But, the unforced error. Now they're going to get another chance as they enter the 22 of Ghana. They have some numbers on the outside. Skipping the player with the overlap. And what looked like a good tackle, he's going to get in anyway. Looks like Chamsandine is going to get in for the second try of Tunisia, and they're definitely back in this game.
Indeed, same kind of setup as they did the last time. Send the ball wide to the outside. They've got big men on the outside. Kamsandine, Khalifa able to dot the ball down. Ghana unable to match up on the one-on-one tackles, and Tunisia taking advantage of that. This is a wide kick. If they're able to bring it in, then Tunisia will take the lead. However, Ghana, in my view, look like the team that's going to outlast Tunisia if they're able to get their hands on the ball. The good attempt by the kick, but unable to convert, and the scores are tied 12-all.
Yeah, it was a great effort, but 12 apiece, Tunisia, Ghana in the opener. You sort of feel that if you were sitting on the technical bench of either of these teams with 4 minutes to go, it's the team that's going to put in the hard strides going into the last 4 minutes that will win this. Both teams looking a little bit laboured and tired for some unknown reason. It's the first game, maybe saving some energy, but it's going to be that person who's going to try and run it from his own 22, or guy's going to go into contact, put in a big hit, that I think is going to win this game.
Indeed, I've noted for both of these teams, they don't play the game at pace. The better teams later in the tournament, you'll start seeing they'll play this game at a lot significantly better pace. They will probably be able to take more results from there. Good line out from Ghana. Are they able to work their way out of their 22 and into a scoring position?
The pass not finding the player, so back into midfield. There's the little bit of injection of pace we were talking about. As he approaches the halfway line, the support is there, but maybe not clinical from Ghana, the one-handed stuff. You need to make sure that whatever they do is clinical, whether it's passing or whatever it might be. Now, a little bit of numbers, and there's that unforced error.
Indeed, Ghana had a chance. They were able to recover that ball. Tunisia now trying to piece together a structured move, and again, losing the ball in contact, some basic errors. These are going to cost both these teams. Can Ghana keep about 2 or 3 phases together? They may have a chance to get points back on the board.
Well, that kind of play as well is extremely sapping. When there's an unforced error, it's turned over, then the other team run with the ball, and then another unforced error. So this little passage of play is really going to tell on the players. But again, just noticing no one's really injecting that pace. But there's the missed tackle, and he should go all the way. Will Hamza Saliman, and taking Ghana into the lead with 2 minutes to go. You can see how tired the players are, but a little show inside, and Tunisia falling for the dummy and managed to go all the way.
Indeed, Tunisia fell off those tackles. Unforced errors, really, if you make your tackles, you wouldn't get yourself into that situation. But Ghana able to take advantage of that missed tackle. Emmanuel Carlos putting the try in. Ghana now with a chance to go 7 points into the clear. We've got about a minute and a half left in this game. If they're to get the result against Tunisia, they need to really manage this kickoff that's coming. But there you go, with Carlos with the ball in his hands. Show and go. Tunisia's fall for the dummy, drop off the tackle there, and as labored as that was, he made it to the try line. Good throw, good score there by the Ghanaians. Let's see how they manage this kickoff to see how they can close out this first encounter of the men's Africa Rugby tournament.
Well, this will be a test of their skill as well, because they have the lead, and probably deserved as well. But can they close it off? And that's good hustle. Offsides, says the referee. The ball was tapped, and then the man in front of the player picked up the ball. And now just an opportunity to either put the game totally out of their reach, or to just run down the clock.
That was a critical error by Tunisia. Ghana now has possession of the ball with less than a minute left. All they have to do is keep the ball in hand and not do what they just did there, knock on.
Is that called the commentator's curse, Adrian? You and your big mouth. Come on, man.
I was saying all they had to do is keep the ball in their hands, and he dropped it right in front of the Tunisian attack, and so they have a chance. It's 20 seconds left in the game. If Tunisia can piece something together, they can at least tie this game.
Well, I hope that the shout from the touchline for Tunisia is, guys, it's going to take a monumental effort from our own 22. But here's our last chance. And if we can get in here, we'll salvage a draw from obscurity. Here they come. Who's got the legs to go all the way? There goes the hooter. So this is the final play. Not really making any progress. That's good defense from Ghana. They've got to watch out on their discipline, because that's what's going to happen. Not 10 yards. So there should be another advantage here for Tunisia. Now approaching the 10-yard line. Little chicken wing offload to the far side. Wow, deciding to kick the ball away.
Hail Mary kick, Hail Mary kick. If he can gather it, Ghana's able to defend there. This is the last chance. Tunisia has turned it over, but there's a lot of cacophony going on there.
Wow, there's the other penalty. They're now 10 yards short of the Ghanaian try line. I think Tunisia sniffed something here.
They have a chance. The skills shouldn't let them down. They've scored tries like this. Good step there. Fantastic try by Tunisia. What a way to close out the game. He stepped through the Ghanaian defense. Ghanaian again, their spot one-on-one tackling, letting them down. Tunisia brings the game to within 2 points.
Well,
and
he has a thing to add insult to injury. They allowed him to go underneath the posts as well. So it's just a little chip over the posts, and we're going to end up 19-all.
we spoke about experience. These teams across the continent of Africa maybe haven't seen this level of competition very often, and therefore they're unable to know the little nuances and tricks to keep the margins of sevens in their favor. And Tunisia able to bring the game to a draw. And the final score between Ghana and Tunisia, 19-all.
Well, he has another look at that try. And he got in for his second. Some great stepping from the number 10, Nejmuddin. And getting under the posts, exactly what we spoke about. Ghana maybe being a little bit, we'll call it wet behind the ears in realizing how to block a team out. And all they had to do was to ensure that the try was scored in the corner and back that he couldn't convert it. They allowed him under the posts, and what a way to start the tournament.
Indeed, Ghana Tunisia tied the first game, 19-all.
Well, it's a great start, and probably not a great start for those two teams on their log, because they're going to have to share those points, and Ghana would be questioned on the result. But great start. It's Ghana 19, Tunisia 19.
When you're hot, it's this hot. And you're big, this big. When you're deep, it's this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Parla Legends Sports Ground, the venue for the World Cup qualifiers, an opportunity for Africa, bar South Africa and Kenya, who are core status, to lift the trophy and have the bragging rights. Adrian Bakwenya has made way for Kenny Simba, Hall of Famer himself. Kenny, you're sort of darling. I know you know how to say it on air, but you quite like the Zambian team, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And after their local tournament, it was very exciting just to see some of the runners and some of the skill and the improvement that they've made.
Well, the Moroccan side, unknown quantity. We can tell you in 15s rugby, they've just qualified for the Gold Cup. They will replace Senegal in next year's tournament. However, Zambia, a team that is on the up. Israel Kalumba leads them really well. There he is, he's just left your picture. And Nigel Chibwe, a player to watch as well. Look out for Guy Lipschitz. He's their number 4. He'll play a huge role. There he is. He'll play a huge role. He's